but his company decides to do it anyway illegally. He decides to test it on himself first for whatever reasons, I guess to grow his arm back or whatever. It's at this point everything seems to go downhill, and the nice mentor-like figure that had been helping Peter all this time is replaced by a crazy, evil, mad scientist who wants to turn the whole world into mutant lizard people. Some people have argued to me that his mind was affected by the change, but really there's nothing ever shown or stated to my knowledge that would support or even imply this. Except maybe near the end when he saves Peter's life, but honestly, it felt kind of like a rushed, half-assed way of trying to redeem an otherwise stereotypical villain. One other problem I had was how Peter was so quick to tell when he was Spider-Man. Now, aside from Batman, Spider-Man is honestly the most paranoid superhero there is in the world when it comes to his secret identity. For him to just come out and tell a girl he hadn't even been dating very long that he's Spider-Man, it seems really, really out of character for him. But more importantly than that, for those of you who don't know, in the comics, when his father died, Spider-Man was blamed for his murder. All the while she was still dating Peter and him feeling tons and tons of guilt over everything. The movie completely ignores all of that. She hated Spider-Man in the movie, but she still loved Peter. And it was one of the main reasons they never even got married. But for no real reason, the movie ignores this. And to me, this is really one of the most important parts of Gwen's story. My biggest problem, however, over everything else, is the costume redesign. And this is the main thing that put me against this movie in the first place, the reason I expected to hate it. Spider-Man has been around for 50 years. He's been drawn by more people and artists than anyone could ever count, and has won tons of versions of his iconic costume. Yet one thing every version of him has always had in common was the eyes on his mask. The Iron Spider suit notwithstanding, of course, the eyes on the costume have always been white. I mean, how hard is that to do, really? What is it about iconic superhero costumes? People always feel the need to change it and make it more modern instead of letting it be what it is. Yeah. Was it so hard? What is so hard about that? The costume itself? I don't know. It's part of the costume. It seems to remind me of like the Ben Reilly costume from the Clone Saga in the comic books. If you don't know what that is, basically the Clone Saga is considered one of, if not the worst story in Spider-Man history and in comic book history. I mean, is that really the first impression you want to give to people while trying to introduce a new movie franchise? I don't know. I personally didn't like it, but some people have told me they loved it. I just couldn't get behind it. Now, the biggest question, the one that is on everyone's mind, how does this movie compare to the first Spider-Man movie? And the truth is, it doesn't. Not to say the first movie is better than this or even the other way around. Both movies do what they set out to do in their own way. They're both true to the character in certain ways. They both tell a great Spider-Man story. People say this movie is trying to copy off The Dark Knight because of how it's a bit darker than the Sam Raimi movies and more realistic. And to those people, I have one thing to say. You're all a bunch of fucking idiots. People have been making dark movies since before The Dark Knight was even thought of, and people will still be making them for as long as movies exist. The Dark Knight wasn't even the first darker toned superhero movie, and it won't be the last either. The reason this isn't like the Sam Raimi movies is because it's not trying to be. The first Spider-Man movie was a lot more tongue-in-cheek, while Mark Webb versions tried to make Spider-Man a bit more serious. And they're both really good for it. The same can be said, in my opinion, about Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Both of them make great Peter Parker / Spider-Man, but for different reasons. Tobey made the perfect nerdy geek that can never get the girl, while Andrew Garfield seems to be the quick-witted superhero smartass that Spider-Man is supposed to be. I think Tobey Maguire is a better Peter Parker, while Andrew Garfield is a better Spider-Man. The same can be said for the movies. Both of them are great Spider-Man movies, just for different reasons. That being said, now it's time for my final verdict. I give The Amazing Spider-Man 4 Stan Lee cameos out of 5. Despite the fact that I went in not really wanting to like the movie, not expecting to like the movie, ready to nitpick everything I could, I couldn't help but love it and enjoy myself. Some parts of it did feel like they were dragging on for a bit too long. The movie more than makes up for it time and time again. There's just a few problems and loose ends in the plot that keep me from giving this movie a perfect 5. But despite this, I believe this is definitely a worthy successor to the Spider-Man movie franchise. A must-see for Spider-Man fans, action movie fans in general, and definitely superhero movie fans. I give it the Batman seal of approval. Until next time, I'm Batman. And remember, I'm not wearing hockey pads!